On this episode of the Naturist Living Show, an interview with France Guillain and another song from the ever-popular Naked Drummer and the Bailey's Road Band.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show is brought to you by Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park. At Bear Oaks, we offer traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Free your body, free your mind. www.bearoaks.ca.
I was reading through a variety of interesting blogs on Naturism, on the internet, obviously, and I found one called My Secret Public Blog about Naturism, Nudism, and other stuff. And it's a rather interesting, lots of interesting articles. I give you the URL, but I'll put a link to it because it's not exactly the prettiest URL web address available. So if you go to the show notes afterwards, you can read more about it. The author is named Rick Romig. I apologize, Rick, if I mispronounced your name. He is in his mid-50s and only recently became interested in naturism a few years ago. He is a member of the American Association for Nude Recreation, for the Naturist Society, the Naturist Family Network, and the Buckeye Naturists in Columbus, Ohio. So I assume he lives somewhere in Ohio. But most importantly, he's a very clever writer, and I particularly enjoyed this blog. And he gave me permission to read this very clever post that he wrote way back in January of 2007. But as I was going back and catching up on various posts that he put, I read this and I thought this was worth sharing, and he gave me permission to read this on the air. So it's called Nipple Radiation, and why is American society so damn repressed? And I'll say nothing's changed, and I don't think it's that different in Canada either. He says, criminalized nipples in the news again, from Diary of a Nudist, discusses a woman in Lincoln, Nebraska, who was apparently convicted of public nudity based on photos posted on the internet. That sounds like weak circumstantial evidence to me. What is it about women's nipples that causes so many to get their panties in a knot? I have yet to hear of any scientific evidence that uncovered female nipples cause any harm or trauma to anyone except perhaps the most repressed and prudish members of our society. Nonetheless, I suspect that our self-appointed conservative protectors aren't telling us the real truth. They've been covering up the real reason breasts are so dangerous: nipple radiation. Nipple radiation is a very curious and, apparently, very dangerous phenomena. It appears to have the following characteristics. 1. Nipple radiation is considered very harmful to humans, especially children who no longer breastfeed, although the alleged traumatic effects have never been documented or observed. 2. Nipple radiation is considered to be so dangerous that a mere glance of a mother breastfeeding an infant is believed to cause severe trauma. Thus, mothers are sometimes encouraged to breastfeed in restrooms or at least cover the infant's head with a heavy blanket. 3. The effects of nipple radiation predominantly occur within the borders of the United States. It has been known to occur to a lesser degree in other repressed societies around the world. 4. Alcohol intensifies the effect of nipple radiation on males, which is why many states do not allow clubs that serve beer and liquor to have nude dancers. Due to the dangers involved, patrons must be at least 21. 5. Nipple radiation is only transmitted by female Homo sapiens who have reached puberty. 6. Nipple radiation is not transmitted by males with the possible exception of transsexuals. 7. There is a suspected link between nipple radiation and the female hormone estrogen, although postmenopausal women are still known to be transmitters. 8. Nipple radiation affects humans via direct sight of the nipple. 8. Nipple radiation affects humans via direct sight of the nipple. 9. Nipple radiations can also be transmitted through visual media to include broadcast, cable, and satellite television, and the Internet. 10. Nipple radiation can also be transmitted by photographs, paintings, and sculptures. 11. Nipple radiation can be blocked simply by covering the nipple and areola with semi-transparent material such as wet t-shirt, sheer nylon, pasties, or lace, or any opaque material. 12. Nipple radiation does not appear to affect Europeans. Apparently, they have developed an immunity to its effects. 13. Nudists and naturists seem to have natural immunity to the effects of nipple radiation, although many conservative experts refute this claim and believe social nudity to be natural disintegration of society with nipple radiation as the root cause. I'm sure there are other characteristics that have not been discovered yet. Quite obviously, the dangers of nipple radiations are real. Global warming will have to wait until the dangers of nipple radiation are eradicated forever. And I was laughing when I read this one. It's very clever, well thought out. And it certainly seemed the way society is reacting that there is a real danger to all of our healths from something, at least like nipple radiation, although nobody's ever quite explained what the true danger is of people being exposed to women's nipples as opposed to men's nipples for all the irrational reasons that are alluded to and made fun of in this blog post. So if you have a chance, you can go and read it yourself, and many other posts from my secret public blog. It's time once again for another song by the Naked Drummer and the Bailey's Road Band. We've had a lot of fun with these songs in the last two shows, and a lot of positive feedback. There's been a fair bit of inquiries, actually, about people who were interested in finding out where they could get their songs. There is a link on the website, on the show notes, as to where you can purchase them, and they would appreciate the support. We're actually going to be selling the CDs at Bear Oaks as well, so that's coming up. It will be in the store, and we plan, or we hope at least, to get the store online in the fall, so people who are not at the park can still order some of the fine materials and literature that we have for sale at the park. And this episode's song is called Being a Nudist by the Naked Drummer and the Bailey's Road Band of Australia.
If I was a nudist, my dad would say to me, what do you do when you're looking clothes free? Put on some shorts, maybe a top, cover your body so no one can see. The way I was born, it lives in me. The freedom of my body, the way to be. Being a nudist is clothes free. I like to live my life as free as can be, whether or not you will agree. It's something I do, can't hide it no more. Hiding in my bedroom behind my closed door. When I am a nudist, can't you see? It's the way I was born, it lives in me. The freedom of my body is the way to be. Being a nudist is clothes free.
Hello? Hello? Dickie here. Have you seen today's newspaper?
No. Which one is that?
You know, the new one called Bottoms Up.
Oh, that's a new paper.
No, it's a nude paper.
Oh, what a jolly good idea that is.
You know, naked bodies in the beach, having a jolly good old time and all that sort of stuff.
What? It's about time. I am a nudist, can't you see? It's the way I was born, it lives in me. The freedom of my body is the way to be. Being a nudist is clothes free.
Do you understand how I feel? Don't wanna live behind my closed door. Being a nudist comes naturally. Being a nudist is natural to me.
Now I am a nudist, can't you see? It's the way I was born, it lives in me. The freedom of my body is the way to be. Being a nudist is clothes free. In the sunlight goes free.
We were very fortunate and honored to host at Bear Oaks a visit by France Guillain. France, like her first name, lives in France. Lives in France, Paris, France. France. I'm gonna pronounce her name the French way, if that's all right, because I'm a little bit more comfortable. It sounds a little odd to me to use the English pronunciation, given that my first language is French and I could pronounce it properly. France Guillain is the author of Le Bonheur d'être nu, Le Naturisme, un art de vivre, which roughly translated means the pleasure of being nude, Naturism, an art of living, or an art for living, I guess, depending how you might look at that. France Guillain has written many books, though, on naturism health that have sold millions of copies throughout Europe. She's also shared her knowledge and experience through hundreds of articles, radio interviews, television shows. She showed me a list of where she appeared and she's been involved in. It's truly incredible. I don't know how she has the energy. She currently teaches healthy living at various conferences, seminars, and through special naturist retreats, which someday perhaps we'll be able to bring to Bear Oaks in North America anyway. She was actually born in Polynesia, which was because of colonization, has a lot of French influence. And she was raised in a very simple life because of that, and I think that's had a great effect on her view of the world and health and how to live a healthy life. She left the island to study on a scholarship, and since then she really hasn't stopped learning. She's amassed multiple degrees in science, math, and philosophy over her life and career. She's also the author of several studies, and she's a mother of 5 children. She sailed the world for 17 years with her children. If you can imagine living on a sailboat and what that would be like on her own as a single mother, raising 5 children. Very tight quarters, but what an incredible learning experience for her children, and what a wonderful way to grow up. She lived for long periods, because of that, in China, the Philippines, Mexico, the USA, in the Balearic Islands, and in the Galapagos. So that kind of lifestyle is what compelled her to turn to nature to find simple yet effective healing methods to safeguard and optimize her personal and family's health. So we interviewed her, and she told us more about her philosophy towards health, how naturism fits into a wholesome, healthy life, because there are not just psychological benefits to naturism, which obviously are very powerful, but there are also real physical health benefits to naturism too. And some of the ones that she sees, she talks about. And she also tells us a little bit more about what naturism is like in France. So welcome to Bear Oaks. Why don't we start by having you tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
So I'm from Tahiti. My mother is Tahitian and my father Spanish. And you see, it's a good French girl, as in every country. And I turned around the world during 22 years. And I turned 4 times around the world sailing as a skipper on my sailboat with my children, boats from 10 meters long to 17 meters long. And I teach my children on my boat, and I have 5 children of mine and 5 adopted. Wow. So it's a big family. And I grew up all this family. They all studied very well, and they have all a good job. So life is well.
So you have a lot of life learning experience, but you also have a lot of formal education, don't you?
Quite a lot, because I study a lot of mathematics and physics, and I'm engineer in physics. But when I was 49, I did a master in philosophy. So I always love to study as much philosophy than physics and mathematics. And since 20 years, I study the body. I do biology. I work with research on health naturally. I mean health with the normal food. I mean vegetables, fruit. This is normal food for me, and also all the techniques given by the nature. I mean the sun, water, fresh and hot atmosphere, clay. Those are the techniques I use to practice and to teach.
You're a lifelong naturist, and naturism seems to figure prominently in all of your beliefs towards living a healthy life.
Yes, since I was born, I always wanted to learn. I was reading all what I could find, even dictionary every day. It was something like eating or breathing, and it's still the same. I'm always working, even here, looking around me. I'm so glad to discover labels and anything I can find around. It's for me, that is living.
You look at health in many, many ways and from many different sides and different angles. But how would you describe your overall health philosophy?
I teach feeding well with natural vegetables and fruits and even good chicken and good fish. But it's not enough. If you only eat well and don't do any other thing, the food will stay in your low part, and that you get fat. If you can walk in the nature nude, you will make circulate all this food, and the body will be very well, and your health very well. Then you can use sun. Sun is a food like any other food. Sun sends a lot of material. It's not imagination. For example, trees. If you put clothes on trees, they die. They cannot produce fruit. They cannot produce leaves. It's impossible. They die because they change the light in fruit, in vegetable. The same for the body. If we cover the body all along the year, we are just like trees with clothes, and the body gets sick. It's normal. You cannot escape to that. And also, I use the clay, which is like coming from the earth, to cure some things from time to time. If you have any accident, something going, or if you have problems inside, you put clay on your skin somewhere to cure. So there are very simple things, cheap. Everybody can get them. And I'm really upset to see that now people think that you need money to be healthy. And that's untrue. It's completely untrue. And that's what I want to show and to teach to everybody, to listen all the free ways to get good health. And Naturism is one big part of it, of course.
So, France, I know you actually have a lot of training in science and mathematics and even engineering. So I imagine that your health philosophy is actually based on scientific facts and evidence.
Yes, I always work with the scientific research. I mean, I never say something if I'm not sure it's proved by the official research. It's not imagination, it's really proved. For me, it's very, very important. In France, we have the CNRS and the INSERM, which has very official research. And all what I teach is proved by them, but also in the States, in many other countries. there are some things very, very important. In winter, with clouds in the sky, if you go out with your arms and legs nude, in half an hour you will fix 10,000 unities of vitamin D. And if you take a pill of vitamin D, there are only 400 unities. So you will pay for 400 unities and you will miss 10,000. It's completely mad.
So vitamin D figures prominently in your health strategies. But it's very important, from what I understand, that you get that vitamin D from the sun, and that taking an oral supplement of vitamin D doesn't have the same impact or the same beneficial effect.
When you go in the sun, put a hat, but no sunglasses, because your eyes have to receive the UV directly. Don't look at the sun. You can be under the trees, but your eyes have to feel directly the UV. Then your brain analyzes how much UV are in the atmosphere, and the brain sends under your skin the good fat which is in your body. The condition is that you eat such a way that you make good fat, because if you eat badly, you have bad fat, thick fat, which will not work. But if you have the good fat in your body while eating well, the brain will send this fat under your skin, and then you will not have burns, you will not be burned by the sun, and your skin will be beautiful and in very good condition. You live in a country where you know there are des ours, bears. There are bears. Bears during the winter, they sleep all the time. When they start to sleep, they see the sun going down, and then their brain takes all the good fat to go around all the organs to protect them, and there is no more good fat under the skin. Then when in the summer or spring the sun appears slowly, the bear opens his eyes and he receives the UV in his eyes. Then his brain analyzes the quantity of UV in the atmosphere, and he sends all the good fat under the skin, and the bear feels well. In Europe, they are studying this strange thing. It's not so strange, but the pity is that studies on the sun are made by some people, and other people are trying to understand how to hit somebody which has a temperature very, very, very low. You know, if you fall in the water, then your temperature of your body is going very low. And to hit you, if you put hot around, you die. You have to hit by the inside. You eat hot water, you eat something hot, but you cannot eat hot non-stop. And they are trying to understand how do the beer to get hot again. They should read the Dr. Downing, who is an English doctor. He wrote about that. He studied a lot in hospitals about that. The only reason is the UV going in the eyes. And it could be done with special lamps. You know, they could do it. I wrote them recently to tell them that, because it's a pity to see how they don't communicate. You see, it's very funny.
So Naturism is obviously an important part of who you are and what you've become, and it has very much helped shape your beliefs in health and holistic health. How did you first become a naturist?
I've been sailing alone with my children, and then I stopped in Papua New Guinea, in the north of Australia. I stood in Melanesia, and I've been living with people living nude all year long. It's their life, and that's all. And I was really happy to be in some villages where you have no aggression for women, for children. They have a lot of respect for the other one, and sexuality is not foolish. Sexuality is very respect. Has a lot of respect. So I was also interested by health, how to stay in good health when you have no pharmacy, no doctors. So I learned a lot of things over there. And then when I came back to France, in Paris, we were looking for nature. I was living in the center of Paris, so every weekend we went at the end of the train. I had no car at that moment, and we walk in the woods. And very quickly, my children came to me and told me, Mama, a man showed me his sex. I said, what's that? I had never seen that all in my traveling. And I talked about that to the mother of a child going to school with my children. And she told me, don't know, it's very dangerous to be... we were not nude in the woods, we were dressed. But it's very dangerous to go that way in the woods with children. You have to wash them always. And I said, but I cannot live that way. And she said, if that is your problem, so the best way is to go in the naturist place. And she told me, but you have to live nude. Oh, I don't mind. I had been living in countries where it was so quiet. I said straight away, I went there at 50 kilometers from Paris. I found Heliomonde. And then I put my tent there for 4 months. And we lived there 4 months, from the spring to the autumn. I carry my children to school every day and back to the Naturist center every night. And in September, when it started to be cold, I thought I cannot stop that for my children such a way. So I rent a caravan. And we were there all the winter, from Tuesday night to Thursday morning, and Friday night to Monday morning, every week, all the winter, all the time. And my children had beautiful health. They were working at school perfectly. They could run every day. They had 57 hectares. Of garden for them. Wonderful, with a swim pool, with a sauna, with a tennis, everything, you see. So that's the reason. And then I continued to study health, because I wanted to keep my children in good health always, without medicine and things like that. And the funny is that the family of my children is full of doctors in medicine. They are all doctors in medicine.
Your children are doctors?
No, but my the grandfathers of my children, uncles, cousins, everybody is doctor in medicine in this family. So it's too funny. And I can say that most of them follow me. And a very little number think I'm foolish, but I don't mind. But with the years, I'm 66 now, and I have never got any medicine, nothing. I feel very well. I do bodyboard in the sea, in big waves. I ride bicycle in Paris all year long. There's no problem. I live just like when I was 20 years.
So how many children again did you raise?
10.
And are they still involved in Naturism?
we didn't go during 2 years when they were 10 to 12, some of them, and I bring them again. I brought them again back, and I told them, if you want, we can go in the textile camping. But I said, the first night, if you don't worry, we go in the Naturist place. That's what we did, and the day after. We spent the day. I didn't know what they did. They had pareo on the top, and at night I asked them, "Do you want to change?" No, we try another day. Okay. So the next day, at the end of the day, they told me, "We've been swimming." So I knew that they were nude because they couldn't swim with clothes. And I said, "Do you want to move?" No, we stay. And since then, they never accepted to spend their holiday in other places. And they said something very important. They said, what we really love in naturist places, when a boy comes to talk to us, we know that it's not for our ass, it's for us.
I understand you actually wrote a book about naturism itself.
Yeah, I wrote 3 books. Yeah, and because I would like to make people understand that naturism cannot be seen. It must be lived, which is different. It's just like the first kiss. If you have somebody of 30 years who never kissed a boy or a girl, and you describe him how to do, he will be upset. He will be afraid. He will say, "But that's dirty." When you kiss, a French kiss, it's horrible, that thing. If you tell him how to make love, he will be afraid. If he never did, you cannot explain. He has to live it. When he lives it, all changes completely. So that's the reason why you cannot show naturist. You can only try. It's impossible to tell it. The best way is to try it. I think there's no better way. There is a little experience, funny experience. Go in your bath. Go in your go to take a bath in your house with a bathing suit. So you will feel really uncomfortable. It's just this may help you to understand what we feel when we are naturist. You see?
But you haven't just published books about naturism. You've published many books on other topics too.
Yes, I published many books. I have sold many books too. 1.5 million. They are not all on internet, but I wrote mathematics books. I wrote novels. I wrote my experience on sailboats. I wrote 2 books which are like in a mirror. I mean, I put all the ladies one side in one book and all the men on the other side. So if you read the 2 books, you find the both of them. But what was interesting to me was to show how the lady described her husband and how he describes her, because it's so different, they cannot recognize them. I wanted to show that we don't have the same view on the other one, and words don't have the same sense for women and for men. I'm sure of the equality between men and women in rights, in debts, but I'm sure also of the enormous difference. And that's good. Otherwise, it would be unnecessary to be women and men. And it's very funny to see how the same life is not the same story for each one. You see? And that was very interesting for me on the sea, because on the sea all the problems are much worse and all the good things are much better. So I could force the image. I could, like a painting, you can show much better on a sailboat because it's very small and you see everything in a very little place. Everything happens there. And those books are very funny too.
And what are the most recent books you've written?
My really recent books are books about health, because I don't want to die with all the knowledge I have. So I want to give it before the end. It's very important to me because I think that we receive a lot of things of the humanity during many, many years, and one day you have to return it.
So your home naturist club is just outside Paris, from what I understand, and it's called Heliomonde. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit more about what that club is like and what it's like to practice naturism in France?
Heliomonde means the word of the sun. Heliomonde is 57 hectares wide.
For those who are still on the imperial system, that's about 140 acres.
And has 600 places for caravans or bungalow. And we're 1,500 people all year long, more or less. But it's a small center because the other ones in the south of France, they were 15,000 people a day, all during the summer, which means 200,000 people coming there in 2 or 3 months. Wow. It's quite a lot. So you see. And Heliomonde is a very intimate place. I mean, there is very few people being paid to work there. Each people is responsible of the whole thing. I mean, we don't throw a piece of paper on the ground. We clean everywhere. We are very involved in keeping the place very nice. Last month they make completely new old entrance, and they bought 3,000 plants or little trees, and people of Heliomonde plant them themselves. You see, they didn't have to pay for this work. So that allows to have a center very, very sympathetic, always agreeable, with a big swimming pool, with sauna, hammam, tennis courts. We have 8 tennis courts. Volley, basket, football, everything, bicycle riding, and many things. So you see, it's very interesting, and the great quality of Heliomonde is being at 40 minutes from Paris. Paris is a big city with 3 million of people inside and 25 million around. And when I go back to Paris, when I will be back to Paris, I will take my car, and in 45 minutes I will be in Heliomonde, and I will be in full nature to work, to write my next book. You see? That's wonderful. Even sometimes if I live, I'm obliged to be in Paris every day. Sometimes at night, at 11 in the night, I take my car, I go to Heliomonde, I walk in the valley during half an hour, even in winter, and then I come back to Paris and I sleep well. I do that very easily because it's so close, you see. That's really something. Albert Lecoq, who created all the Naturist clubs in France, wanted that all the cities get a naturist club aside. He wanted a very close one so that people of the cities could go there every weekend. And that was a very, very good idea. That's the reason why in France you have 265 clubs in a country which is 1,000 kilometers on one side and 1,000 on the other side, which is a very small country. And all the cities have their club, and that's very, very good. And even inside the city you have a naturist swim pool and sauna, hammam and things like that in most of the cities. So it's good too. And naturism may develop much more.
So thank you very much, France, for your time and for sharing all that interesting information with us. And thank you for listening to this podcast. If you are interested in the show notes, please go to our website at naturistliving.bareoaks.ca, and you'll find links there to all of the things I've referred to in the show. If you'd like to leave a comment, we always love comments. We read a whole bunch of them in the last episode. It's naturistliving@bareoaks.ca, B-A-R-E, oaks.ca. And you can always leave a voicemail too, and then I can play it on the air, and everybody else can hear your voice and your ideas. It's area code 253-369-9383. We love to hear feedback, and if you use iTunes, please take a moment and go to iTunes and give us a rating and give us some comments, because those ratings and comments will help bring us up in the iTunes and Apple catalog. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next month with another show full of interesting naturist ideas.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show was brought to you by Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park. Traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Traditional values means that naturism is more than just taking your clothes off. It is a life philosophy with physical, psychological, environmental, social, and moral benefits. Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park strives to promote those naturist values in a modern setting that provides the amenities and services that our members and visitors expect. Free your body, free your mind. Learn more at www.bareoaks.ca.